Hi, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photo talks. So today I want to talk about this beast of a camera, the Nikon F. It's amazing how much this revolutionized photography and how affordable they are now. Like I think you can buy this camera and this lens for a couple $100. Considering what people pay for digital, this camera is still magnificently working. It weighs a ton. You can use it to ward off would-be attackers. Just a little swing of the strap, and after you're done knocking the offender out, you can take their photo. The camera will still work. This is such a great beast of a camera, and I love it. I would love to someday find a smaller head that didn't have the meter, because I don't typically use a meter on these cameras. I just use Sunny 16, and I would like to have the smaller profile. And I thought about that, and I thought, if I could get a smaller profile with a different head. And I have another Nikon F, and I've been using this one. This one has a beat up old 24 on it, but it has a waist level finder. And a friend gave me a box of stuff. It was a box of like filters and lens adapters and just oddball stuff. But in there was this waist level finder for this Nikon. Now, I'm lucky in some ways when it comes to eyesight, because I have good close vision. I can't see anything after I pick up my glasses from a distance, but I can see this perfectly sharp. So when I'm using a waist level finder, I can just look under my glasses and I can see that frame perfectly well. Well, a lot of people would say, well, I picked up a waist level finder. I read some online posts where people said, yeah, I have one. It doesn't come in much handy. It's hard to focus. It's hard to see it. Well, you need to have the close vision focus like I do, or good glasses that let you see close. And then I think you need to use it with a 24 or something wide. Because when it comes down to it, the focus is so short. The difference between 5, 7 feet and infinity is right next to each other. So you can literally walk up to somebody 5 feet away, drop it onto 5 feet, and just quickly compose. I would bet if you compose this with a lower than typical eye level perspective, you'll get a lot of shots that appear in the same vein as Vivian Mayer, if you're a fan of her work, because she was often using a camera, a waist level finder, and a Rolleiflex, and she's shooting up at people. And there's a certain look that happens when things are being shot at from that level instead of from a standing position. But I think it works perfectly, but only with a wide angle lens. And I don't think that I may try it with a 50, but nothing beyond that. I wouldn't want to put a 105 like this onto it and then try to focus it through a waist level finder. And it's got a little magnifying glass, so you can raise up this little magnifier, if I can get it. How does it work? I'm not sure if I know how it works. I'm not sure I ever use it. I don't typically use the magnifiers on cameras, even on a Rolleiflex. I'll sometimes use it to check focus if it's a critical portrait, but like if it's a street scene or something, I typically focus by what the whole field of view looks like. And also there's another thing that I think is really fascinating about waist level finders is, whereas in a viewfinder, you're looking through a glass window and you're framing based on the rectangle that you see with one eye, almost like in a tunnel. That's not the way you look at a photograph. The way you look at a photograph is with both eyes at the same time. Well, this is what you do with a waist level. You look at both at the same time. You're able to look at both the whole frame with both eyes. So to me, it feels like, especially, I love a Rolleiflex. I'm a big Rolleiflex guy. The Rolleiflex is the best example of that. You're looking at a photograph because you're using both eyes. And I think you get the same approximation with the 24 on this, because you're still looking with two eyes at framing. And then again, you're going to, if you're using a wide angle 24, if you're trying to do a portrait, you're trying to do a street scene, you can see it, and you can pretty easily compose because it's such a wide angle lens. So for me, I'm a fan of the waist level. And if you haven't used one, it has, everything is right side up, but it is laterally reversed. So what's on the right is on the left. And you need two mirrors, I suppose, to make it so that it's both not right, not upside down, and not laterally reversed. But since there's only one mirror in a waist level finder, you have it laterally reversed. I don't find that to be a problem, and I love the idea that I'm walking around with a camera that as I'm walking down a street, people see me doing this, and they don't even necessarily, they typically will think that if you're not looking at them, you're not taking pictures. Because most people don't know what a waist level finder is, and they don't understand that you could possibly be taking a picture if you're looking down. Why would you? You must be making a mistake. The camera must have accidentally fired because I was walking by, you were looking down, and I heard the shutter. And you will hear the shutter on these cameras. They're not the quietest. But outside, on the street, you're fine. That's not even a problem. But I do like that, and I do think that if you are not a Nikon F owner, you might want to look at what's available. There's a lot of great bodies in great condition. The 105-25 that's on here is a legendary lens for quality. And then, like I said, this 24, if you can see, it's kind of beat up. It's a 24-28 that I got off some, I think somebody had a large format camera and they kind of put that on there to make it look like it had a lens. It was just a showpiece. And I ended up pulling it off there, but the glass is in fine shape. It's just the body is all nicked up. But I think that works perfectly for a Nikon F. A Nikon F should be a little nicked up. And the fact that I ended up getting a waist level finder because a friend had a box of junk and said, here you go, you want this? I'm like, okay. And there, amongst all the filters and all the step-up rings and just oddball stuff, there's a waist level finder for a Nikon F. And I know you can get them for the Nikon F2, for the F3. Certainly if you want to shoot larger negatives, look for a Yashica Mat 124G, or just a regular Yashica Mat, or a Yashica D. I'm a big fan of the D. And then the Rolleiflex, it's, for me, the king of all medium format because it's a small body and it lets you carry a small, very beautiful looking Art Deco piece or whatever that kind of style is. It looks like a retro, people are very attracted to it. And it's a great conversation starter. I think this may not be as much of a conversation starter because it just looks like a lot of SLRs from back in the 70s. But to me, the waist level finder really makes this a lot more interesting, at least right now. I go in phases, you know. It's a photographer world where you're always trying different things. But that's what I've been shooting with lately. One of these days, the film will be finished from that roll, and I'll put some pictures up. All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. I thank all my supporters, and you make this show possible. All right, thanks so much. I'll be back next week. We'll talk photography. As always, here's to good light.